You have followed Mr. Fraser's tutorials and/or you have followed the demonstration in class, you should hopefully have these individual parts drawn already for your stool. So the first one we did was the top with the locating holes or screw holes in there. If you had a problem with those not quite working, then you might need to go back and add those. We've drawn the side or leg of the stool, and we've also drawn the brace. So if you don't have all three of those, please go back, look at the Google Classroom. It's got the links to Mr. Fraser's tutorials, and tutorials 1, 2 and 3 will get those parts made for you. Tutorial 4 deals with what I'm about to do now, which is put the three of them together. So I've clicked a new design just by clicking on my new design tab here. The very first thing, as always, is going to be to save it. So I'm going to call it John Wilson, something like stool assembled or stool completed, something like that. Make sure you're saving it somewhere where you're going to be able to find it, and click save. So that's going to just change the name of this file here and at the top. If I look at my data panel by clicking on this button in the top left hand corner, it's going to show the files that I've created. So here are the three that are already open. There's obviously the top, that one is my side or leg, that one is the brace, and finally that one, the blank one, is this assembled one here. Now, once we've clicked onto that blank one, we're working on that drawing, we're going to insert these parts into the current design. So it's just a right click and insert into current design like so, and just press enter or click OK and do the next one. This one, because there are two of these, we're going to need to do it twice. And just be careful as you're sort of spreading them out and what have you. Be careful, obviously, not to lay them on top of each other and get them locked together or something so horrible like that. We can use these buttons to drag around and make sure that we've moved them into the right sort of axis or plane by moving them 90 degrees. Just be careful, you don't accidentally do a little too few degrees, too many degrees, because it will look very similar, but it won't actually obviously work properly. It needs to be 90 degrees. And remember again to just press your OK button once you've done that move. So I'm going to move that, say, to there, and click OK or press return. Just drop another one in because we need two of those, one for the left hand side, one for the right hand side. Basic principle is exactly the same again. You need to go 90 degrees through that axis and then 90 degrees through that one, and then you can pull it along a little bit so it's somewhat closer to where it's ultimately going to end up. Remember to click your OK button, and then we'll put the brace in as well. Now, the next thing is going to be, we're going to use the features of the drawings, such as holes that we've drawn or slots that we've created, to actually assemble the drawing. That just needs to go through 90 degrees, of course, and then click enter. So what we're going to do next is we're going to choose the details, if you like, that are going to help us assemble things. So I'm going to choose the top of that hole there, and then I want to move that. I've selected that one. I want to move that until it joins the bottom of this hole, not the top, because if you think about it, I'm not joining that surface with that surface. I'm joining that with the underside, which I can just see through there, showing up lightly in blue. So if I press and hold my shift button, I should be able to select that one as well. Okay, so you can see that's just where the hole projects through. If I then press, sorry, not modify, if I then press assemble and joint, then the first part I clicked, which was the leg, will shuffle along and join the second part. Remember to click your OK button, all right? And at that point, you can click your orbit tool, have a look, check, does it look like it's all gone into the right place? Hopefully there's a hole that goes right the way through there. yeah, where our screw would fit in the actual thing. Okay, so we can zoom back out of that and do the same to the other side. Now remember, the order is important for this. We're moving from, or we're clicking the part that's going to move, and then we're clicking the part that it's moving to. I'm in my orbit mode here, so remember just to press escape before you try selecting things, or you could find it a bit tricky. Here we go again, and I want to press and hold my shift key down. If you don't do that, then the act of selecting one is going to deselect the previous one. So assemble and joint, and that's going to wiggle that into place like so. Again, I can click OK, and the final thing is going to be to put the brace in. So the brace, you could choose, let's have a little check, make sure that all looks okay and is joining together properly. The brace, there are different parts of that you could use to help do your locating. It doesn't really matter particularly which part you use, but it's got to correspond on the two components. So let's just press my escape button to get out of orbit mode. Now what I'm going to do is take that corner there, that edge if you like, or well, it's more of a corner, isn't it really? And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to press and hold my shift key while carefully selecting that. Remember, the first one you clicked is moving to the second one you clicked. Assemble, joint, and there you go. That should put that in place. Click OK, and at that point you should have your assembled stool. Okay. Remember, we can do a function F6 just to auto fit it to size. And whichever way you rotate that, just make sure you've got no gaps. If there are gaps, then something has gone a little bit wrong. Okay, but that should be your assembled stool. And when you get to that point, all you need to do initially is come up, press your save icon, and you can click OK there. And just to note, having a look at that, you can see that within this final drawing, this assembled drawing, we've got 4 other components. Well, of course, the reason for that is because we inserted a top, we inserted a side, we inserted a side a second time, we inserted a brace. Okay, so that would be all of our pieces together. I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to talk to you about how we're going to modify it.